Thank you for giving this opportunity to speak about Nepal's religious freedom. And I'm happy to see those pastors' voice has been reached to the international platform. And these cases are, still, being led by me. And yeah, it was tragic, for them. And as we just heard the story from them. Yeah, I would just like to, uh, the update what's happening in Nepal. And Nepal, even it is, the declare a secular state. And we see that the explanation of the secular state is, the uh, preserving the religion and the culture handed down from the time of immemorial, and which refer to the Hinduism. So, but how this, under which the criminal penal code has been enacted, and under the penal code provision, many minority, particularly the Christians peoples, are being arrested every year, and being threatened, and those the foreigners are being deported in every year. So but how can the international community, or how this kind of the legal provision can be changed? The first is, I would like to mention that it is the inquiry to the Nepal government, and inquiry about the implementation of the international commitment. Nepal is a signatory party of ICCPR, and that creates a legal obligation to implement the commitment which enshrined in the ICCPR, which provide full protection and promotion of the religious freedom. And for that, the Nepal has to be, keep inquired by the international community. I would just like to mention the one example. Recently, I read one book mentioned by, written by one of the ambassador of Nepal during the presidency of Jimmy Carter in the United States. That time there was the king monarchy system in Nepal, and that time the Christians were being arrested every time, everywhere. So the Jimmy Carter kept pressuring the king monarch king that time. So king was able to at least give some the freedom in some areas. So this is why the main to change the law and the legal provision on the restriction on the religion, and in the particular the Christian minority. The international community must take a active initiative to get to inquire the Nepal government, the state, the head of the state, and now the head of the state of Nepal government is the prime minister. And because Nepal is a signatory party of ICCPR and other international convention, it's a primary responsibility for the protection and promotion of the human rights. And the another thing is, how can we the change the work in changing the law is to coordinate with the National Human Rights Commission. National Human Rights Commission is an integral component of the UN human rights, and it is considered to be a regional mechanism to implement the international human rights, including the religious freedom and the right to religious freedom. The National Human Rights Commission is a constitutional body which is established under the 248 article of the Nepal Constitution, which serve as the principal national human rights institution. and particularly they review, they are mandated to review the human right violation, including infringement upon the religious freedom. And they have a power to recommend a legal action and department of punishment against the violators of human rights. So, and they recommend to the government. But what happens if the government will not be initiating the action against on the base of the recommendation by the National Human Rights Commission? Then they have a right to those human rights violators a measure that can carry significant reputational consequences, and they can put them in a blacklist as a human rights violators. And this demonstrates that legal changing regarding the religious freedom is possible, and that can be function of the existing legal framework to implement and to enforce. And another question I have given is, what legal reform would be improve freedom, would help improve freedom of expression in Nepal. And first is the constitutional amendment. We have a very technical problem in the constitution, even in the preamble. We all the time speak about Nepal is a secular state, but there is a explanation of the secular, what is secular mean, which does not refer to protect and promote the minority religious community, minority religious faith. It promote and protect only the dominant religious religious community or the religion, which we refer to the Hinduism. We already heard that the Hinduism in Nepal is almost 80%. And the secular means to protect and promote the 80% dominant religious community. So this has to be reformed, and this has to be amended. And many times in every year, I just, when I just, go through the newspaper and, UN rapporteur reports, many countries, international communities recommended to repeal and amend the provision, but it's still not happening. So, and another is the penal code. Penal code has the main obstacle and being misused by the Nepalese authority. As we heard the story, those pastors were not evangelizing the gospel. They were there to meet their believers, their church members. But when the people groups which belong to the Hinduism, and they came and they just try to find find something from their bag, and they just found that, and they found some materials which is related to the gospel. On the basis of that, they just arrested, and they just persecuted, and the allegation of the conversion, which was not true. That was the false accusation. So it is being the being misused by the Nepalese authority. So it has to be amended. So before amending the provision of the penal code, the constitution must be in the explanation of the secular state, and the article 26 of the constitution also has to be amended. Until and unless these two provisions of the constitution still remain, the other amendment or the amendment in the penal code will not be sufficient. So not only that, the other thing is, we still have some problem in the penal code, not only the article 58. The another problem is, the stage of limitation. And last year there was one pastor from a local church. He called me that one of his church members called him after 5 years. He has been baptized, and he was threatening him that he realized now after 5 years that he has been converted by the pastors. So he was demanding the huge amount of the money, and other, if pastor did not able to provide the money, and he could sue against the pastor. Here is the provision. The provision says that the complaint about on the conversion shall lie after expiry of 6 months from the date of knowledge of the commission. And when they have the knowledge, and they can go in any time. So this is also the one of the the problem, and that has to be amended. And there are still other in the problem also. There is an extra territorial jurisdiction. Even the Nepali people residing across the outside of the country, abroad, like America, Europe, and the Middle East, the South, UAE, where the people are for the employment. Now they are expanding the gospel, and if they convert someone, or the preach someone, or the evangelize someone, and if they return to Nepal, and they just sue against the report against them, they will be liable to bear that criminal liability. And this is also the one the problem we see in the penal code that has to be amended. And